A shocking motive in the murder of a Seabrook mother in front of her children.
As police continue the search for the suspect, we're learning they believe he killed the victim to avenge his brother's murder.
ABC 13's Jessica Willey is here to break down the stunning revelation, all new at 10.
In October 2024, a young mother sent a series of desperate text messages to her friends, showing them fresh bruises and bite marks. These weren't just signs of abuse, they were clues to a meticulously planned revenge plot that had been brewing for months. By the time anyone realized what was happening, it was too late. This isn't just a story about domestic violence, it's a chilling tale of calculated betrayal, revenge spanning 4 years, and 2 innocent children left without their mother. This is the tragic story of Jayne Collins, a devoted 23-year-old mom who thought she'd found love but instead walked straight into a trap set by a man consumed by vengeance. What follows will leave you questioning how far someone might go to settle an old score, and whether anything could have stopped him. Jayne Collins lived in Seabrook, Texas, with her 2 boys under the age of 10. She worked hard as a single mother, juggling jobs, parenting, and co-parenting responsibilities with Michael King, the father of one of her sons, who was serving time for murder. Despite the challenges, Jayne radiated resilience. Friends described her as loving, determined, and fiercely protective of her children. By early 2024, life seemed stable. She had recently moved into the Teakwood apartments, hoping to build a better future for her family. Her grandmother's house became a weekend sanctuary where she shared dreams of returning to school, moving into a bigger apartment, and giving her sons the stable home they deserved. Little did she know, everything was about to unravel. In June 2024, Jayne met Dawayland Hurst at a local convenience store. Their meeting appeared casual. He complimented her kids' snacks and shared childhood memories, but it wasn't chance. Hurst had been watching her for weeks, learning her routines, studying her life. He knew exactly who she was connected to, including Michael King, and he had chosen her deliberately. At first, Hurst played the role of the perfect boyfriend flawlessly. He cooked meals, helped with childcare, and even encouraged Jayne's relationship with her children's fathers. On social media, their lives looked idyllic. Photos of family picnics, bike rides, and cozy evenings flooded her feed. To everyone around her, Hurst seemed like the answer to Jayne's prayers. But behind closed doors, cracks began to show. By late August, subtle changes caught the attention of those closest to her. Coffee dates with friends became sporadic, often canceled last minute. Her once active social media accounts grew quiet. Then came the physical signs. A bite mark on her face dismissed as playful, long sleeves in 90-degree heat, whispered phone calls from bathroom stalls. Text messages revealed a pattern. Jayne would send photos of bruises or scratches only to quickly follow up with pleas not to worry or tell anyone. Jayne Collins VO, "It's nothing. I bumped into a door." Yet her friends noticed something unsettling. These accidents always happened when Hurst was around. By September, the escalation was undeniable. During her youngest son's birthday party, Hurst hovered nearby, monitoring every interaction. When Jayne spent too long chatting with a neighbor, he grabbed her arm so hard it left finger-shaped bruises. Her phone calls turned frantic. Hurst had begun threatening her children, warning her not to speak out about the abuse. October 4th, 2024, started like any other Thursday. Neighbors saw Jayne drop off her kids at school before heading back to her apartment alone. Security cameras captured Hurst arriving shortly after, carrying what appeared to be breakfast, a routine he'd established over the past few months. By 9 a.m., Jayne had made several tense calls to friends. Text messages showed she tried reaching out to family members, though most went unsent. At 10 a.m., she picked up her children early from school, claiming a family emergency. Between 10:30 and 11 a.m., neighbors reported hearing raised voices from her apartment. Then, at 11:15 a.m., a video call connected from the prison where Michael King was incarcerated. What happened next would seal Jayne's fate. The footage later recovered by investigators showed Hurst dropping his facade entirely. As King connected to speak with his son, Hurst deliberately moved into frame, positioning himself behind the child. His voice carried none of the warmth he'd previously shown. Dawayland Hurst, VO. Remember me? Remember what you took from me? In the background, Mary Jayne could be heard trying to intervene. Her voice rose with panic as she realized the danger. Mary Jayne Collins, VO. No, get away, baby, get away from him! Then came the sound that would haunt everyone who viewed the footage. The sharp crack of Hurst striking King's son, followed by the child's cry of pain and confusion. The call ended abruptly as Hurst turned toward Mary Jayne. Within minutes, neighbors heard what they thought was a gunshot. Multiple calls flooded emergency services, reporting screams followed by complete silence. When police arrived, they found Mary Jayne dead from blunt force trauma and a single stab wound. The murder weapon, a kitchen knife, was discovered in the sink, recently washed. Signs of a desperate struggle filled the apartment: overturned furniture, shattered objects, defensive wounds on Mary Jayne's hands and arms. Most heartbreaking, her two young sons were present during their mother's final moments, hiding together in their bedroom closet as instructed. The older boy, barely 9 years old, shielded his younger brother's eyes and ears, whispering comforting words. Older son, VO. Everything will be okay. Investigators soon uncovered the devastating truth. Hurst wasn't just a jealous boyfriend, he was the half-brother of Dijon Triplet, the man Michael King had killed 4 years earlier. Every moment Hurst spent with Mary Jayne and her children had been part of his plan to strike back at King. Hurst had spent months researching Mary Jayne before approaching her. He created fake social media accounts to monitor her activity, learned her schedule, and exploited her trust. Even his encouragement of the prison video calls was calculated, knowing it would eventually lead to the confrontation that sealed her fate. After the murder, Hurst vanished, triggering a 3-week manhunt. Security footage showed him leaving the apartment complex on foot, taking evasive routes through residential areas. For 24 days he stayed off-grid, using cash only and avoiding contact with anyone. But his efforts to escape justice were futile. On October 28th, authorities found him hiding in a motel room under a false name. Upon arrest, officers discovered fake identification documents, a large sum of cash, and a phone containing videos of Mary Jayne with her children, videos he had watched repeatedly during his time as a fugitive. His only words upon arrest? Dawayland Hurst. Is King hurting yet? Mary Jayne's death left deep wounds in her family, particularly affecting her two young sons. Her grandmother took custody of the boys, creating a safe haven where they could begin to heal. Both required specialized counseling to cope with the trauma of witnessing their mother's murder and losing her forever. Her case also sparked important discussions about protecting victims of domestic violence, especially when abusers exploit vulnerabilities for revenge. Local advocacy groups developed programs to break cycles of retaliatory violence and support children exposed to such tragedies. As we remember Mary Jayne, let us honor her strength and determination. In her final moments, she fought fiercely to protect her children, giving them instructions that likely saved their lives. Her story serves as both a warning and a call to action, a reminder that breaking cycles of violence requires all of us to recognize, speak up, and act when we see warning signs in our communities. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear these warning signs. You never know whose life you might save. Hit the like button and subscribe to support our mission of bringing attention to critical stories like this one. Leave a comment sharing what stood out to you or what advice you'd give someone in a similar situation. Together, we can help prevent future tragedies and protect vulnerable families.